Good morning, everybody. It's always great to chat to you about matters technology in the education space, and that's what the Centre of Technology wishes to do. So the FEDSAS Centre for Technology has an aim of finding good solutions for education in the market and then sharing the information with schools for the betterment of our schooling environments, so schooling spaces, better learning outcomes, better management outcomes, and even just to support the schooling community. So we're very excited today to chat with Ladine. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag yet, but D6 has been a member of the Centre for Technology for quite a while now, and they play an integral part in many schools' processes. And part of the new innovation that they're doing is what we're going to be talking about today, and that's what we call the D6 rides. And Ladine is going to share with us, she's from Zipalong, so D6 Rides powered by Zipalong. Ladine, I always ask companies, what problem do you solve in schools? Because if there's not a problem, why should we address it? So what is the difficulty that parents or schools may be experiencing? What is the problem that you address? And how do you solve that problem with an innovative plan? Tell us about D6 Rides.
Thank you, Rian. Thanks, everyone. So D6 Rides was actually invented by a parent, and it's for parents. And it's a very busy parent that thought of this idea. He has 4 kids, and he felt like he's always driving around after the kids. If it's not hockey practice, then it's soccer or ballet or swimming. And then he found that every time that he gets to wherever he needs to go, there's how many ever other parents also driving their kids there and with empty seats in their cars. So he decided, listen, this must stop. This is a problem that he needs to find a solution to. And that's where D6 Rides comes from. So it's basically a lift platform, or it's a platform where parents talk to each other and can arrange lifts. So if you're driving to school and you have 2 seats in your car, and then you can go onto the app. I'm going to share my screen and then just show you what it looks like. It's quite interesting. Let me present. So just to give you an idea, it's already in D6 Connect. You go under info and then you get to D6 Ride. So let's say you have space in your car, you go onto the app, you can then create a trip and say you are driving there, what time, what date, and then other parents in your community and in your schools, they will then be able to see, oh, okay, my friend is driving there and I can now book a seat in that person's car. So that's basically the problem and the solution.
So what I see is that this problem or this situation exists already. I think just not on a managed platform, but parents chat to each other, either by means of phone calls or WhatsApp, and say, can your car accommodate my child either going to school or to the event or something like that? So I think that's critical for us to understand this is a new product, but the platform is the newness. The activity is happening already because parents are sharing rides. And I think even from the school side, the school is encouraging, if there's a mini cricket match, the coach would say, can you 3 go with that mom and you 3 go with that dad? And they organically, unmanaged, have the situation of sharing rides. Okay, sharing rides sounds like Uber. And it is in the small, it's kind of a closed circuit, closed community Uber for the school, for the learners, by the Uber drivers being the parents of the school. Immediately raises a lot of neck hair for a lot of people. We live in South Africa, which is a great place to live, but we know that we have risks anywhere in the world, but in South Africa, we are very security conscious. Is there a security risk to this? If it's happening already, you're talking to someone that you know. So there's no forced using a parent if you don't know them and you haven't made the arrangement. But does D6 Rides have, do you guys go through a vetting process? How does a driver register? How do we make sure my kid is safe? In a sense, a safety check, security check.
So we make sure that everyone that can see D6 Rides, they are part of the community and part of the school. So we know, okay, it's a parent of the school. So we pull that data and from the school's contact list, and they know, okay, they are involved at the school. So that's the first step. Secondly, when you are loading a trip, you need to create a whole profile of who you are with a photo, who you are, your vehicle. So when you are booking a trip, when a parent is booking a trip, they know exactly who their child is driving with, and they can decide if they don't want their children to drive with that person or that. And they also know, oh, okay, that's my child's friend's mom, for example. So there's that. And then also later on, when payment comes into play, then there's a more strict vetting procedure. So the driver then needs to have a PDP, a valid license, a third-party insurance, and that vetting process I do that. So I go through all of that, happens manually. So I go through all the paperwork and make sure, okay, this one is eligible to be able to drive or not. So yes.
Yeah, so you've thought about the security issues, but once again, it is not putting your child in someone's car that you don't know or don't feel comfortable knowing. No one is forcing anyone into this. It's just a communication platform that facilitates the process that's possibly organically happening already. You mentioned payment.
Yes.
Okay, so Uber is also not for free. So you mentioned payment, and then how does that work? If the school, it's not related to the school, so the parent can be a for payment, for school, or for trip fees driver, which somewhat takes the sting out of it. Because if you constantly the parent that's asking other parents for a seat for my child, you kind of feel bad in asking, but you also feel bad in giving them 15, 20 or 30 Rand for the petrol contribution or something. Yes. And it's kind of just awkward. So that makes it easy. It's on a platform, so you don't, there's no cash that exchange hands, but there's a mechanism for you to say, I can, without feeling bad about it, request a seat in someone else's car and I make payment. And that is then when you need the PDP license. So it's not a free. What is the anticipated fees when this rolls out?
So, and I also want to add, on the other hand, it's always the same parents driving. So now that parent can actually make a little extra cash or just cover the petrol costs without, also feeling maybe bad to ask for petrol money. But the fees is for the first 5 kilometers, 25 Rand. So that's the base fare. And then after that, 5 Rand per kilometer. So because it's community driven, we feel, most people actually live close by to the school. But so that's the fee.
Yeah, that's not onerous. So there's a base fee irrespective of the first 5 kilometers. If it's the first kilometer, it's 25 Rand. That's to engage with the platform and just make sure that you use it. Yes. Very interesting concept, and I think it will make a lot of people's lives easier to just know that I can pay, make a plan. I just want to reiterate. So it's effectively plugging a management platform into an existing solution. Yes. Where parents talk to each other. But there's another existing solution or existing problem that's taking place, and that's the school bus leaving and coming back to an event. Can the school utilize the platform to book seats on their bus or buses? And will this enable a parent to know, my kid got on the bus, my kid is going there, my kid got off the bus, and there's no confusion about is the seat booked for my learner or not? Can you just explain what service this can be to schools?
Yes. So similar to when you're driving, you also, I forgot to mention that actually, that you do get a notification. So if you are making a booking, then you will get a notification, okay, your child has been picked up and now your child has been dropped off. So similar to if you are now a school and you have a school bus, then you become the driver. So you load your school bus onto the app and you say, okay, I'm driving with the bus, it has 20 seats. And then you ask the parents, just jump on D6 Connect and make your booking there. So that takes out the admin around managing the bookings for the school. It also takes out the admin around the cash, and especially these days with COVID, so it's much more hygienic being cashless. So then the parent will book a seat in the bus for their child. And similar, so it's going to be 2 trips. So let's say going to a sport event and driving back. Sometimes a parent can go to the match, but they're going to be late because of, running late at work, and they fetch their child and they go home after the match. So now the school don't have to worry about that. So it's almost like a register as well, because you know, okay, this child only booked to the match and not back. So that admin is also easier for the schools. Yes.
I love that. I think information is power. Knowledge is power. So knowing who's on the bus and who's not on the bus. So, I mean, we had very sad incidents in Gauteng the beginning of last year with um, people not knowing whether the learner was on the bus or was not on the bus. So I think that's critical to have that information.
Yes.
Quick question, maybe just for an SGB, considering this and just going through a process of decision making. Any potential liability for the school by using it, both sides. If the parents use it, it's between them,
Yes.
even though it's on the app. The second thing is any liability for the school as far as legal liability, insurance, and that sort of thing goes. You spoke about the security issues at the beginning, but let's just clarify the legal position as far as liability goes.
So one of the vetting procedures is also to ensure that the drivers have third-party liability, but this we see as separate from the school. It's like a platform. It's like WhatsApp, basically, where parents talk to each other and they arrange trips. It's not part of the school. The school doesn't manage it. The agreement is between the parents. And yeah, so no, the school is separate from that. D6 would like to give back to school. So there is a reward for the school, but it's not directly correlated to the trips. It's actually just, something that the schools get back for using the system as well. So yeah, the liability is separate from the school, and this operates as an entire entity on its own, not included in the school operations.
Brilliant. So there's always reputational risk when looking at these things, and let's just clarify it. And I think SGBs need to have a good look at it. Nadine, how do we contact with you? What's the next step if the school wants to get involved? I know you're looking for pilot schools. How do we take this further if a school wants to get involved in testing this?
So we are looking for pilot schools. We're looking for parents that's maybe already in a lift club that can test this app, so that once we roll out, we know that we're going with a great product to market, and that will be January next year. So until then, the app is still free. So my email address should be on the screen now, and any parent or school that thinks that this is a solution for their parents can just contact me on either my number or my email address.
Great stuff. Thanks so much for your time. I love talking about innovation, new ideas that solve problems for our schooling environment. And I think there's a large amount of people that drive to the same place with empty cars. And maybe it's even somewhat of a green element that we keep the carbon footprint lower by sharing rides and making it more effective. Thank you for your time and good luck with this venture. Let us know how it goes. Good luck, and let's see what happens on the other side of this. Thank you. Go well.
Thanks. Bye.